Hi, this is Kevin Thomas, and welcome back to the At Home Film Festival. Oh, so excited. Last week, we did an episode on funny actresses who did some very unfunny movies. This week, I'm doing the opposite. I'm going to do comedic actors, some of them are stand-up comics, who actually can act and did some very terrific performances. So we're going to take a look at 7 actors and a great performance from each of them. So let's get started now. Our first actor is Adam Sandler. I have had mostly a hate-hate relationship with him, but I've grown to really enjoy his movies over the years. He has made so many big box office hits, didn't like them. He's actually won, I think, 7 Razzie Awards for writing and acting and directing bad movies. So I'm not alone in that. But every now and then he'd have a movie pop up like The Wedding Singer, which caught me off guard, which was really good. And then You Don't Know the Zohan. So he's done a lot of good movies mixed in with his crappy ones. And over the years, I've really grown to admire him somewhat. I mean, I've even liked some of his really bad movies these days, like Jack and Jill. Ooh, should admit that. But he currently is getting the reviews of a lifetime on his Netflix movie Hustle. So I'm not going to talk about Hustle because you could just go to Netflix and look at the top 10 movies streaming right now, and Hustle's one of them. I'm trying to always uncover something for you. So I've had many good choices from Adam Sandler, but the one I picked is Uncut Gems. Yes, it's just a few years old, and maybe you've seen it already, and you could rent it for a few dollars on Prime. But this movie should have gotten Adam an Oscar nomination. He did this movie years ago called Punch Drunk Love, which got him a lot of awards, and people were thinking he's Oscar worthy. I wasn't a big fan of that movie. But this movie, he plays a jeweler who makes this big gambling bet, and he's fearful of the payoff, so he spends most of the movie trying to make sure he covers his assets and his ass. And that leads to a lot of complicated, sometimes violent situations. Wow, this movie is amazing, and I am so surprised that he didn't get up for an Oscar. He was nominated for many, I think maybe almost 50 different acting awards, winning a couple of prestigious Best Actors, but the Oscars didn't notice him for some reason. But this movie is gritty, it's real, it's great. Please watch Uncut Gems. And not just because of the stupid meme that's happened recently.
I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Uncut Gems.
Right.
Then we have Sacha Baron Cohen. And of all of his movies, I decided to pick Hugo because I think that was a turning point for him that year. We know him from a lot of sophomoric but riotous movies like Ali G, Barat, Bruno, and The Dictator. And of course, The Brother Grimsby. So the year he did this, he also did Sweeney Todd. And those were more dramatic roles for him. Sweeney Todd got more notice, and he was the comic relief in that. So I chose Hugo, where he plays a supporting character. He plays a detective or a police person. And he actually is not funny at all. He's really the part of the movie that is the serious character, unlike everybody else, more in a whimsical world. So I really thought this is one we should watch out for him. He's really terrific in a lot of things he does. In fact, 2020 was his banner year. He was up for 2 Oscars for the very dramatic The Trial of the Chicago 7, should have won, and for writing the sequel to Barat. So Sacha Baron Cohen isn't just a comedian, and you could watch Hugo on HBO with me, so let's go. The king of comedy is one of the funniest overlooked movies ever made. It's actually a dark humor, and it's directed by Martin Scorsese, who, by the way, also directed Hugo. This movie is so hard to find, but if you look on YouTube, you could find it. This is the only movie that has Jerry Lewis in an award-nominated performance. He was up for the British Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. This movie is so off-kilter and weird where Robert De Niro wants to be a talk show comedian, and he tries really hard to get on the Jerry Langford show, which is the Jerry Lewis character. And since he fails, he kidnaps him. So here we have Robert De Niro, straight-faced in a comedy, because that's always the funniest parts of it. And then we see really Jerry Lewis being in a dramatic role in a comedy. Makes sense? Oh, When this movie comes to your streaming device, you should definitely see it. But until then, you could just find it on YouTube like I did. Please, please, please seek this out. Not only for Jerry Lewis, but Robert De Niro is amazing, and so was Sandra Bernhardt. And they were everything about this movie was overlooked at the Oscars. But the British Academy enjoyed it, so should you. Dick Van Dyke is known for slapstick humor. He was successful on TV and in the movies for a time. And of course, who would not love his films? But this movie, The Comic, did not get the notice that it deserved. And it was a passion project for Dick Van Dyke because he was a big fan of Stan Laurel of Laurel and Hardy. And he often mimicked Stan Laurel in a lot of things with his permission. And when he made this movie about a silent film star trying to make the transition to sound, this movie, which, by the way, it's also in color. This is scenes from the fake silent movies that he made within the movie. So here he is, acting comedic. He has a lot of dramatic moments. He's acting in silent movies within the movie. This is normally what the Academy Awards would look for in their nominations. But this film got absolutely no attention from them. Not every movie that's good has to be up for an Oscar, but since that is kind of the measurement that many people do for success, I often reference that. I also love the Academy Awards, but this didn't get up for photography, it didn't get up for costumes, and this also brings another comedian into play, Mickey Rooney, who's often funny in a lot of stuff, and here he plays one of the silent film actors. So Carl Reiner made this, who also did the Dick Van Dyke Show and so many things we love. And if you want to look for this movie, super hard to find, but I found it. You could watch the entire movie on YouTube. So seek it out. Dick Van Dyke, The Comic, YouTube. Find it. Go. Thank you. Now let's not mix The Comic up with The Clown, because that's our next movie, The Clown with Red Skelton, also great at physical comedy. This movie is a remake of a 1930s Oscar-winning film called The Champ, but they take the scenario from the boxing ring to the circus. And here we have Red Skelton in a heartwarming performance as a clown trying really hard to keep his son because he is separated from his wife, the son's mother. A lot of drama in this comedy, and this just shows that Red Skelton is not just a one-hit wonder who only does super funny roles. He has many, many of those under his belt, but this is quite a change of pace, one that I really enjoyed, and for a few dollars you could enjoy it on Amazon, so go ahead and enjoy it. Jim Carrey's on our list. He's done many, many funny movies, which we all know and love. He's also more recently got a little more dramatic and getting some awards for later films for his sort of serious turn on many of these great films. But one, which I think is a turning point for him, is The Truman Show, which got him a few awards. So you think he might have been up for an Oscar, but he wasn't. You could watch this on HBO, by the way. But this is a movie about a man whose life is a reality show and he doesn't even know it. I mean, this is way before every channel had a reality show, so I thought this was very forward-thinking of the director Peter Weir, and I think that Jim is really enchanting in this because he seems such an innocent, and he's very sweet, and he's still funny, but he's not that normal slapstick that we're used to. So I think because of this movie, he got some more serious offers later to do movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or The Man on the Moon, because he's really now done some good turns, less slapstick, but still funny. So this is one that I think paved the way, so why don't you watch it with me, okay? We're ending on what I think is one of the most overlooked movies I've seen. Top 5. With Chris Rock. Everybody knows him as a funny man, stand-up comedy. He does still shows to this day. He also wrote and directed this, and he has a cast that just does not end. J.B. Smoove, Cedric the Entertainer, Sherry Shepherd, Rosario Dawson. I mean, the cast goes on. You can just see him in the background. A lot of real famous people that are here too as themselves. Charlie Rose, Whoopi Goldberg. But anyway, it's not about the cast. It's about the story where he plays a comedian. Okay, that's not a stretch. Who almost gets tired of his life as a comedian. And he's put under a microscope by Rosario Dawson as a writer, and he starts thinking, have I been making the right choices? Where is my life going? He kind of reevaluates himself because he's just tired of being the put-upon comedian that does these funny movies that are so awful in a row with sequels. He needs to find himself and his life, and it's really terrific. It's a love story, it's a comedy, it's everything you'd ever want in a movie. Chris Rock, I applaud you for such a great movie that people could watch for a few dollars on Amazon. Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. Funny movies are great, but well-acted ones are even better. I hope you share and subscribe. And you have friends out there, right? Tell them to share and subscribe and to watch. I would love comments. Did I miss a funny actor or actress that you wish I commented on? Tell me down below. A lot of things go on down below, so you should join them. I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that.
Like, I was Josh Safdie's muses when he wrote Uncut Gems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems.
Would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like, Would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that.
Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. It was Josh Safdie's muse for Uncut Gems.
Would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like, would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like, I think people make it seem a little more dramatic.
Shit.
Would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like, I think people make it seem a little more dramatic. Would you, because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right.
That was a good one.
Because everyone's like, would you consider yourself Ye's muse? Yeah, a little, maybe. What is a muse? I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. Like,